Morning, Mark.
Morning, Dean, Alan. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, very good.
Well. So, Mark, okay, you're a United fan. Let's talk Manchester United. We got the victory. We're going to the break. The next few games, 4 or 5 games coming up, look on paper, only on paper, Mark, look really tough. Will this seal the manager's fate or Manchester United's fate where they're going to finish in the season?
Yeah, I think it's a good point, Alan. I think there's a game against Liverpool away about 5 or 6 games time. And you sort of think about last season where they took us apart. And yeah, I mean, we come back, we've got Everton away, Galatasaray away, Newcastle away, Chelsea at home, Bournemouth at home, and then Liverpool. So if it goes wrong, you're right. It could be. I don't want Ten Hag to get the sack, of course, but there is a lot of pressure out there, and it's Manchester United. You've got to win games. I think we're in a bit of a false position at the moment. If you look at a lot of the games we've won, they're all relegation or bottom half. We've not been playing well. The manager's admitted that, but you just hope that there's a bit. I mean, hope's not really a word I like to associate with United. It should be belief, but we are in that situation, and it's a very competitive Premier League. When you talk about the Aston Villas and the Spurs this season, they've really stepped up, and that's left United wanting, really.
Mark, we know City are different class. The squad, you look at the bench, Mark, brilliant. But from a United point of view, do you think, and I'm not trying to get the guy the sack, I promise you, I'm not. He's probably a real nice man. But are they playing for him? Are they giving their all for the manager?
I think there's definitely problems. I was talking about this yesterday with Raphael Varane being dropped in a derby for Johnny Evans. With all due respect, I like Johnny Evans, but Raphael Varane's one of the world's best centre-backs over the last 5 to 10 years.
Johnny's now injured.
Yeah, Casemiro. So we've seen with Ronaldo and De Gea. But I think the team he's picking at the moment is playing for him. I think the Harry Maguires, the Scott McTominays, the Brunos, those players are playing for him. The big question is, are those players good enough to beat the likes of Everton and Newcastle and Chelsea and Liverpool? Because you can have players playing for you, as I'm sure you lads know, but if they're not good enough, then that having players playing for you won't be good enough as well.
Yeah,
Mark, I'm watching it. Mitigating circumstances for the manager for me. I think he's got him on the right track, and then he gets an injury crisis. I know everybody gets injuries, and that's what they're going to say, but the team on the pitch, if he could get Shaw, Varane, Martinez, Wan-Bissaka, Amrabat and Casemiro in front, with Fernandes in front of them, Højlund up the middle, Rashford, that's a good team. If you can get all them on the pitch. The problem for me, your wide players do not work hard enough. And the most important thing the other day, he kept a clean sheet, won the game. And when you're in management or you're playing for a big club, if you lose 3 games on the bounce, you've got to take a clean sheet, even if you draw 0-0. And they've done that, so they can build on it now. Otherwise, the Wolves are at the door again for him this week.
Yeah, I think that it's really clear, as United fans would say, that United are in survival mode. And we sort of went like this with Mourinho and Solskjaer at the end. We're in survival mode. He's grinding results out. 1-0 at Fulham, 2-1 at Sheffield United, 1-0 at home to Luton. That's fine. But when do you come out of survival mode? Because if you stay in survival mode, at some point, you'll die. And I think you're right, that if we can get the injuries back, but I think the big problem with the injuries is the reason they're injured is because he played so much football last year with a small selection of players that are now either out of form, Rashford, Bruno, or injured, Shaw, Martinez, Varane's been injured. And also, I think Brighton fans and Newcastle fans will be listening going, hold on a minute, we've got injuries as well. So I think it's a dangerous thing. I agree with you. If we can get those players back, then we will climb the league and play better. But what if 3 of them come back and then three others get injured? It's like Alan says, it's a December's such a testing month for Manchester United, and I just hope we can come through it.
So, Mark, one last one, please. Marcus, he looks a different player with an England shirt on. What does that tell us?
I'd love to know the answer with Marcus Rashford. I mean, it's last season, I said in January, if he played like that every week, he'd be contending for the Ballon d'Or like Jude Bellingham. That looks ridiculous now. He wouldn't contend for anything. He's off his game. I'm sure the player would admit it himself. He's just been given a massive new contract. He's the star player. The club bends over backwards for him, probably too much, some might say. He's got the platform, and yet, is it just bad form, or is it a player that runs hot and cold? Ten Hag, I mean, you could almost say Rashford has got Ten Hag's future in his hands, because if he starts scoring, United will climb the league. If he doesn't, then Ten Hag has to stick with him because it's his guy, and we've seen loads of managers do that. And that could be the end of Ten Hag. So there's a lot, but that adds pressure onto Rashford. I think if he scores a goal, things will change. But yeah, it's a real puzzler because he's a quality player. He just doesn't look like it.
Hugely talented. Mark, brilliant. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.